I know some of you really struggle, like I used to, with shoelace. And George, yeah, that's
No, I don't struggle with it, I just don't do it.
yeah, I know. Well, I thought that was a verb that you might go down. But anyway, shoelace. I'll just get into it. You have your legs, your knees stacked, and then you lean back and you know, if you're a female, you can sit on the mat. If you're a man, you'll really struggle. Maybe you're on 2 blocks or more. But the target are your glutes. And another pose that you can do that targets your glutes are swan. So you can do a swan instead, and you'll get the same benefit. This pose here, well, in addition to taking me 6 or 8 years just to get into, is more intense. But if you can't get into it, it doesn't do any good. So the suggestion I have, and if you're a man, this is probably a better suggestion, because this pose also really abuses some unique anatomy that males only have. So anyway, what I would suggest is to do a reclining swan, where you just get back onto your back, you take a block the flat way, and you want the width to go across your sacrum from left to right. And then what you'll do when it's the right side, we'll be starting with the right side, you'll just raise your leg and then cross it like a gentleman sitting, and then reach behind your thigh or in front of your shin. And now you're getting that same stress or stretch and tension on your right glute. One of the benefits of this version of the pose is if you move your foot way off to the left, you can move where the tension is felt most. In me, for my body, if I move my knee to the left, I feel the tension more to the right in my glutes. And if I move that knee way out to the right, I feel it more toward the center. So you can do whatever makes sense for you, but I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't think of this before. And I know most men really struggle with it. So, and if you're a woman, go ahead and do it too. You don't have to be a dumb man to be smart. It didn't come out as nice as I wanted it to be.
Somebody interpret that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. What I'm going to ask you to do with the strap, during shoelace, we're going to use the block or in between your forearms like this. That's pretty easy to understand. But for using the strap, what I'm going to want you to do is have a width, about shoulder width. So if you grab the end of your strap with one hand and then the other so that it's a good distance, Then you let go of the end of the strap and just bring that around behind you. And now you have the right length to get that strap behind you, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be pulling that strap apart. You're not going to be doing this for, 3 minutes, so you don't have to make a bind on it. But this is just a way so that you can get more opening in your shoulders by raising this up. I always struggled when I grabbed it here. Okay, now get that same distance. When you can't see behind yourself. Okay. Other than that, this is going to be a fun class. We're going to get your glutes, your hamstrings, your shoulders, your spine, in every way your spine is intended to move. And we're going to do a pose that we haven't done real often. And so, okay, we're ready to begin. My name is Clint, and this is Yin Yoga. Thanks for coming. Okay, to start, I'd like you to come into a normal seated position. Your legs can be crossed or straight. What you should try to do is get your knees down below your hip points. And that is a challenge for so many people. But what that does, when you get your knees down below your hip points, your groins, your muscles right here going up to your pubic bone, have an opportunity to relax. And to help you there, you can sit on the front edge of a block. And that just gives your legs a little bit more space to rotate. And if you think about it, your legs are rotating here. They're rotated outward. I'll prove that. Okay. If I bend my knee, it's, it doesn't go anywhere. It's the floor. If I rotate it out, I bend it and it can come in. So anyway, just a little trick. From here, allow your eyes to close. Bring your hands to your knees or to your lap. Stretch the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Tuck your chin in just a little bit. And take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose. And exhale it out through your nose. Take another cleansing breath in through your nose. Out through your nose. And let your breath come to its own natural rhythm. In and out through your nose. Be an observer of your breath. Maybe you can feel the air rushing through your nasal cavities, where it gets cleaned and moistened and warmed in preparation to going into your lungs. Feel that air as it runs down the back of your throat and enters your lungs. Note what parts of your lungs inflate. Feel the tissues on your skin as you breathe in. Maybe you can feel your skin changing, getting stretched. There's no need to improve or correct your breath. This is your own natural breathing. The breath that's kept you healthy so far in life. Throughout today's class, observe your body and the sensations you come up with during each of the poses. By understanding the way your body works and how it reacts to various poses and stresses will make you a better steward of your body. Your body is your survival machine, for without it, you don't exist. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, open up your eyes. And the first pose is going to be dragonfly. And it's a half dragonfly. So it starts by bringing your legs out wide-ish. Now you may try to maximize how wide you can spread your legs, like you're going to travel on an elephant. But that's too far. So bring your legs in a little bit. It really depends on you, and there is no right amount. And we're going to sit up straight and then twist towards your right leg. And inhale, and then begin to walk your hands on the outsides of that leg, drawing your collarbones towards your foot until your body asks you to pause. Now, you can bring a block underneath your knee or underneath your thigh. What that will do, that will prevent your knee from going down any farther. And that will allow your hamstring to relax. Notice what's going on in your left leg. And if that's good, that's fine, leave it out there. But if you're having an issue with it, sometimes it might be your hip joint itself that is screaming in opposition. If that's the case, bend that knee and bring the sole of your foot over towards your right thigh. Feel your lower spine. Feel the outsides of your body. Just above your pelvis. See what is going on there with the tension from your chest trying to come forward. Listen carefully. On your next inhale, rise up, maybe halfway. Look at your foot, push your chest forward a little bit more. Maybe try mooning the person behind you, tilting your pelvis forward a little bit, and then pull forward any bit more. That might not be much, but also pay attention to that left leg. Your hip flexor in the left leg may be really screaming hard. If that's the case, take that leg out of the equation. And as you come forward, relax your spine.
around your spine. Let your head drop. Let your elbows soften and come towards earth, allowing your shoulder blades to drift down your back. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, rise back up. Help your feet back towards the front of the mat. If you're on a block, you can stay on it or you can remove it. Bring your hands behind your hips, bend your knees. And before you start to windshield wiping, notice how your hips feel. And then as you go to one side, see how it feels, and then the other side. Why is that different? And the next time you come to center, pause. This is where we're going into the first shoelace, right shoelace. So if you want to do the reclining swan, just lie down on your back. Or come with me, swing your feet around to the back of the mat and come up into the table. And if it's easier for you to get into shoelace from seated, just get into it from seated. But your right knee is on top. So if you're in table, walk your hands and knees off to the left side of your mat. Lift your left leg up and back, pushing that heel away. And then bring that left knee back behind the right. Kind of like a girl sitting. And then spread your feet on the wrong sides of your mat. Your right foot comes to the left, left foot goes to the right. And walk your hands back and use a block or two or three underneath your sit bones. It'll take you a little bit to get it properly located. And if you're on your back, put the block underneath your sacrum. That will elevate your hips so that you don't have to pull so hard. From here, just set your hands on your top knee. Close your eyes for a moment. And try to make peace with this pose. And then open up your eyes. Grab your other block. And place that block the tall way and wide way between your forearms. Wiggle your fingers so that you're not making a fist, because you want most of this force holding the block to be from your elbows, pushing in. So initially raise your elbows high, and then lower your shoulder blades. The block will come down, but you're not rotating forward. From here, begin to squeeze that block, and as you squeeze, just wiggle those fingers. Your eyes can be opened or closed. And then pause. Release that block. Maybe you want to put it in front of you. Inhale your spine tall. And then begin to walk your hands forward into a forward fold over your right knee. You may not get very far, or you might surprise yourself. Soften your glutes. Soften your lower belly and round your spine. If you're interested to see how much tension there is in your glutes, you can always reach behind and feel one side and then the other, or both at the same time. And you'll probably be surprised with how much tension's there. And even though there's tension, you can be relaxed. Those are the largest muscles in your body. Your glutes are the muscles that pull your legs backward, which propels you forward when you walk or run. Bless you. Breathe in and out through your nose. Your lungs are probably compressed a little bit by your body position, but your body compensates for that. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, begin to walk your hands back, raising up your chest. If you're on your back, lower your knees. Bring your footprints onto the mat. And then help your legs come back out to the front of the mat. If you're on the block, you can remove that. And then push your heels away, your feet are high, and rotate your feet in your hip sides. Now that sounds silly, but take your hands and put a couple of fingers right on the outer edge of your hip. That's where your femur is. And then put your hand above on part of your pelvis. And as you rotate your feet, you can feel the part of your femur as it rotates. You can feel it come up and down. And then pause here. Next pose is caterpillar. Caterpillar, you're in exactly the right position. Now I'm going to use the block again to use gravity as my friend to help a forward fold go a little bit easier. So bring your feet about hip width apart, the toes to the sky. You can put a block underneath your knees if that helps you. Inhale your spine tall. And then begin to walk your hands forward, drawing your collarbones towards your feet. and the crown of your head towards the far wall until your body asks you to pause, and pause. From here, you can begin to soften your spine and round. Caterpillar is stretching your hamstrings and your spine. So you have an option of putting more tension into one or the other, or equal. And that's up to you. If your spine has been troubling you, then concentrate more on your spine. If your hamstrings are tight, put more emphasis in your legs. Soften your shoulders. Let your elbows bend. And you may be able to detect that your head comes forward a little bit or down a little bit. Let your shoulder blades float down your back. And if the pose gets a little too easy, you can always stretch a little bit more and then find softness. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, walk your hands back. Remove any block you might be employing. Bring your hands behind your hips. Footprints onto the mat again. Now you can keep your feet the same distance apart if you wish, or widen or narrow. And then windshield wiper again. And see if it's any different now than it was after the dragonfly. The next time you come to center, pause. The next pose is going to be Sphinx. So, the easy way to get to Sphinx is to just roll over onto your favorite hip and just swing your feet around behind you. Come up into table. And then just walk your knees back. And your arms forward, coming down onto your belly. Now get your shoulder, your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. Bring your hands down onto the mat. Your palms onto the mat. Now your feet can be together or they can be apart. I was taught you have to have your knees together, your thighs together, your feet together. But my body doesn't work that way. So get it comfortable for you. But lift your chest high. That's really important here. Now your points of contact are your hands, your elbows, your toenails, and your pubic bone. Push down with your toenails, lifting up your knees, and isometrically draw your elbows towards your hips. Your gaze is down on the mat in between your hands so that you don't stress your neck. And notice all the muscles that you're engaging. And then begin to relax those muscles. Soften your knees. Soften the tops of your feet. Your thighs. Your glutes. Keep your shoulders high. Feel your belly engaging with the mat. And you may have a sensation that your chest is actually rising as your spine bends. Soften your lower back. And then when everything else has been released, allow your head just to bow forward. Maybe move your head a little bit left to right. Just making sure that you don't have any stress in your neck. And pause here. See if you can tell exactly where the sensations are most in which vertebrae. And then on your next exhale, release, cross your arms, use your forearms as a pillow. Bring your right knee up towards your right elbow. And just breathe here for a moment, letting your spine do a little twist. Recovering from that back bend. And then return your right leg back to meet the left. Come back up onto your elbows. Bring your palms back down to the mat. This time, walk your footprints or your toenails out to the outer edges of your mat. Lift your spine tall again. Notice if there are any differences. From here, push your toenails down, lifting up your knees. You're engaging your quads here and your glutes. You're gazing between your palms again. Breathing in and out through your nose. And noticing which muscles are engaged, begin to release them systematically. And note the flow of the release. What muscles want to hold on? What muscles automatically release after their neighbors do? Feel your belly coming down. And then again, let your head just bow forward. Performing a little bit of traction on your cervical spine. Notice if there's any residual tension anywhere in your body. The only place you should have any is in your shoulders, keeping your chest high. And then on your next exhale, release. Again, fold your arms, turn your head the opposite way, and bring your left knee up towards your left elbow. And feel how your spine recovers quickly. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your left foot back to meet the right. Bring your hands next to your chest. Push the floor away, lifting your chest up. And come all the way back into child's pose. So for child's pose, move your knees out to the outside edges of your mat. And then sink your hips back on top of your heels, your big toes touching. And from here, walk your hands forward, drawing your chest forward, your head forward, lengthening your spine into child. Your head can be resting on the mat or on a block or on a towel. Your elbows are supported by the floor. And breathe down into your belly. That will push your diaphragm down. Now, child's pose is a very slight forward fold, rounding your spine, but it can also be something else. And for that something else, come up onto your tippy fingers. And then walk your hands just off your mat to the right side so that you feel a nice stretch in your left side body. And then just allow your chest to come down, being urged down by gravity, so that you get a nice stretch all the way from your left pinky, all the way to your left hip. And use your breath here, breathing into your left side body. To bring more oxygen into those muscles that are being stretched. And if it doesn't work for you, back up. Maybe you can feel your ribs separating just a little bit. Stretching those intercostal muscles that attach one rib to the next. And then on your next inhale, rise back up, come up onto your tippy fingers, and walk your hands off to the left side of your mat. And you can make this more or less based on your experience. And then sink your hips back towards your heels. And enjoy the stretch on your right side body. And again, don't expect this side to be the same as the other. Because odds are you're not ambidextrous. So you're more muscular on one side than the other. Which means you'll be a little bit less flexible. And a little bit stronger. But what you're seeking in Yin is to create more space in your body for your muscles to work. So stretch into the pose, become still. And as your muscles soften, your fascia will pick up that tension. Stimulate growth, which will then give you that space for more flexibility and mobility. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, again, rise up on your tippy fingers, come back to center. And on an inhale, rise up onto your hands and knees. And do a few cat-cows here. And as I often say, anytime you're in table is an offer to you to go into cat-cow, to lubricate your spine, bring more fluid to your hip and shoulder sockets. So take advantage of it. The next pose is going to be shoelace again. So if you'd rather go on your back, now would be the time. And if you didn't use the block underneath your sacrum the first time, please try it this time. If you don't like it, you can always remove it. And if you're in table, just walk your hands and knees off to the right side of the mat. Bring your right foot up. Stretch that hamstring long, putting your heel on the wall. And then bring your right knee down behind the left. Bring that right foot off to the left side. Your left foot off to the right side. And then walk back. Walk your hands back. Use a block or two. Try to get equal weight on your sit bones. Sometimes I feel like I'm a dog building the perfect nest. But from here, just let your hands rest on your knees. Close your eyes. I should have mentioned that you need your strap this time. Sorry. I can come and get your phone, you can't reach it. Close your eyes and turn inside your body. Try to feel what sensations are going on. Maybe now's a good time just to feel your glutes. And then grab your strap. With one hand right on the end of the strap, grab the other hand about hip width apart or shoulder width apart. Drop the end of the strap and bring your other hand around behind your back and grab the end of the strap with the other arm. From here, now your shoulder blades have a lot more space to operate. So try to pull the strap more tightly as you lift the strap high. Now, lifting it high may be way down low. That's okay. Your shoulder sockets are different than everybody else's in this room. So it's natural that You won't look like everybody else. But what you're doing here is you're strengthening your spine and you're giving a little bit of tension to your chest. And then release. Notice how your shoulders feel. Straighten out your spine, take the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And then begin to walk your hands forward. Coming into a forward fold. And notice the tension in your hips, in your glutes. Now you have another option here. If one side is screaming at you and the other is saying, hey, I don't feel anything, walk your hands to one side a little bit, not much, and see if there's a difference. And likely there is. You can figure out what that difference is later, but you can enjoy it now. This is just a way of dialing in the pose to meet your specific body's need. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, walk your hands back. Rise up. Use your hands to bring your legs back out in front. Bring your hands behind your hips. Push your heels away. Maybe rotate your feet. Or maybe windshield wiper. But observe what the feelings are. And the next time you come to center, pause. We're to dragonfly again. So you can start off in the same position. You can use a block or not. This time, raise your spine tall and twist towards your left foot. From here, begin to walk your hands on either side of that leg, drawing your collarbones towards the foot, the crown of your head towards the wall beyond. And this time, it may be significantly different. Maybe the right leg is just not going to tolerate this action. Then bend your knee. If you're grabbing onto that leg, that's a different yoga. That would be my Ashtanga yoga or a hatha class. But in Yin, you let gravity do the work. You want all your muscles to relax. And that allows the targeted muscle to relax. If your muscles are fighting it, back up. Listen carefully. On your next inhale, rise up about halfway. Push your collarbones forward any bit more, and then forward fold again. Bend your elbows. Let your shoulder blades just drift. Your shoulders will fall away from your ears. That should release any tension you may have had in your shoulders. Maybe with your hands, which are pretty close to your legs, just want to stroke your muscles. Urge them to relax. For your muscles are there to protect you, always. That's their main job. And most times they're reluctant to relax. And in some cases, they don't know how to relax. And the practice of Yin is to learn the tricks to soften your muscles on demand. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, walk your hands back, raising your chest. Remove any blocks. Set them aside. Tilt your legs back to center. And this time, if you haven't had your feet together for a windshield wiper, try that. Or if you haven't had your feet really wide, try that. And windshield wiper. Feel this in your hip sockets. The next time you come to center pause, from here, stretch out your legs, come down onto your elbows, all the way down onto your back. Bring your hands up towards the ceiling. Rotate your arms towards the wall beyond your head, and stretch from your heels to your palms, stretching the back, body, and all the muscles in the backs of your legs and arms. And then stretch from your toes to your fingers. Maybe widen your fingers and your toes and wiggle them. And then return your arms back down by your side.
Walk your footprints up towards your sit bones, draw them in, draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a big squeeze. Rock from left to right. Or maybe make some big circles on the ceiling with your knees. And make sure you go the opposite direction. And the next time you come to center, pause. With your knees still in your chest, release your arms out to the sides in T. And on an exhale, lower your knees off to the right. Try to gaze off towards your left hand. If your knees aren't touching, you can always bring that right hand on top of your left knee. Or you can put a block in between your legs. Notice where the tension is. You may be feeling this a lot in your obliques, which are the muscles that tie the bottoms of your ribs to your pelvis. But soften your belly. Soften your glutes. Begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, bring your knees back to center. Bring your head back to center. Draw your knees into your chest a little bit more. And then return your arms into T. And on an exhale, lower your knees to the left. Gaze up towards the right, if your neck allows it. Again, you don't want to aggravate those little muscles in your neck. Notice where you're feeling this. Now there are some options. You can straighten out that top leg towards the far wall to stretch your IT band. It's not necessary, but it may feel good. The IT band is often aggravated if you do a lot of running. Soften your glutes here. Soften your inner thighs. Soften your belly.
begin to deepen your breath. On your next inhale, bring your knees back to center, your head back to center. Draw your knees into your chest. And squeeze. And rock and make circles. Massage your entire spine, all the way from your hips to your shoulders. And the next time you come to center, pause. From here, release one leg out to the front corner of the mat. Push that heel away. And then release the other knee. And push that other heel far away. Maybe rock your pelvis left to right to find the perfect landing spot. Bring your arms by your side or out from your side, a comfortable distance. If you'd like to walk your shoulder blades underneath your chest a little more, you can do that. Lengthen your spine. Push your head towards the far wall. Lift your head 1 inch. Tuck your chin and gently lower back down and release. Let your fingers just fall towards the floor. Let your feet go where they want. Take a cleansing breath in through your nose. Exhale out through your nose. Another breath in through your nose. Out through your nose. Release the tension in your chest, in your shoulders, your belly, your hips, and your legs. Take rest. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your space. Bring movement to your fingers and to your toes, to your wrists, and to your ankles. Gently roll your head from left to right. And when you're ready, walk your footprints up towards your sit bones. Draw your knees into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. And massage your spine one more time by rocking from left to right or making circles. And the next time you come over towards your right side, pause there in fetal pose for just a moment and do a quick scan of your body to discover if you have any residual tension or stress hiding somewhere in your tissues that you'll want to address later this week. And then using the strength in your left hand, push the floor away. Rise up to a seated position. Thank you for sharing your practice with me this afternoon. Thank you for spending so much time and energy improving the health of your mind and body and breath through the practice of yoga. Take the empathy and compassion and peace that you practice here on your mat. Take that with you everywhere you go and share it with your family, your friends, and each person you might meet. Namaste. My name is Clint, and this has been Yin Yoga. Thank you for